Have you tried that augmented reality ghost app? You can't download it on the App Store. It was there for a few days, but Apple took it down after a horrific accident. It was on the news that a man killed himself because of what the app made him see. That man was my brother, and I'm here to tell you his story. First, about the app. It's called Spirit Caller. The app's description said that if someone had died in a certain spot, the app would call the person's spirit back to that spot. You could then see and talk to the person through your smartphone camera and speaker. I mean, sounds bogus enough. It's funny how my brother discovered the app. He was searching for Spirit Airlines app so he could book a flight to Atlanta for a medical school interview. Anyway, he clicked on the app for Spirit Caller by mistake, and intrigued by the idea of another augmented reality experience in Pokemon Go, he downloaded it onto his iPhone. Anyway, he clicked on the app for Spirit Caller by mistake, and intrigued by the idea of another augmented reality experience since Pokemon Go, he downloaded it onto his iPhone. Now, my brother never believed in the paranormal, but neither did I, and I still don't know what to believe. But what I witnessed, I can't explain. That's why I must tell you all, so you can help me understand what actually happened. Okay, this could be kind of cool, my brother said as he opened the app. I was driving him to the mall near our suburban Massachusetts town. It was so good to spend time with him after he'd been away at university, and I knew it wouldn't be much longer before he left for medical school. What do you mean? I said, peering at the app loading screen. The words Spirit Caller were written in a boxy, all-caps font. They didn't fit in with the plain beige background. What's this now? Augmented reality, my brother said. Didn't you see that awesome demo Apple released on YouTube? Why would I watch that? The demo was pretty cool, my brother said. You look through the camera and something is there that isn't in real life. It's like with Pokemon Go, but 10 times better. Imagine looking through the camera and seeing someone sitting in the back seat. The app had finally loaded and it looked like the camera app, but without a shutter button. My brother panned the camera around the car, but there were no spirits to be found. I don't see anything, I said. It says you gotta be where somebody died, so maybe a graveyard? Dude, no one actually dies in a graveyard. Yeah, but maybe it uses geolocation to decide where to show us the ghosts, my brother said. Kinda like Pokemon Go. It's just a stupid app. I seriously doubt it has the budget to be anything like Pokemon Go. Yeah, you're right. I really closed the app and put his phone away. It's probably just some programmer messing with us. We stopped at the mall. Barely anyone was shopping on this humid and sunny July morning. My brother tried on suits at Macy's, and I stopped at GameStop to aimlessly browse the shelves, even though I only buy digital now. On the way home, we decided to drive by a graveyard. Stop for a bit, man. I just want to try something, my brother said. Dude, you can't be serious. Come on, aren't you at least a little curious? I remember when we were kids, spending time with my brother and going on stupid adventures was the world to me back then. Even if it was just playing pirate ship on our bunk bed. I stopped the car at the side of the road, just outside the graveyard. We got out and walked on the tree-shaded path to the open gates. No one was around. My brother took out his phone and opened the app. He looked like an idiot panning his camera around. He focused on different gravestones. I hadn't been in the cemetery since our father passed away. There was nothing dreadful about this graveyard. It seemed like the most peaceful and solemn of places. No way, my brother said. Holy crap. I turned around to see him stumble backwards and drop his phone. What? I saw something. It was right there. I chuckled. Okay, what did you see? A woman. She was standing right over there. He picked up his phone, and luckily the case had saved it. She was dressed in black and veiled, like a widower. I laughed. Okay, then where is she? My brother panned the phone around. Dude, I swear, I saw her over the spot. He pointed at a plot in the ground. There was no tombstone over this plot. It was just a small plaque in the earth inscribed with the words, Joseph A. Dennell, 1812 to 1897. God took him, and he died in prayer. You saw a woman, I said, but I'm pretty sure Joseph is a man's name. There was another plaque next to that one, and on it were the words, Birthday Dental, 1809 to 1897. Grief took her. She died on the spot, and I decided it was better not to tell my brother. I swear, dude, it looks so real, my brother said. Her mouth was filled with maggots and her skin was rotted off. She stared right at me through the camera and smiled with the most deranged smile. Then she ran at me. I grabbed his phone from him and pressed the sleep button. Look, it's probably just a viral campaign for some horror movie. Maybe the ghost only appears sometimes, or, like you said, in certain spots. My brother looked shaken, and sweat glistened on his forehead. Yeah, let's just go home. He didn't sleep that night. During summer vacation, I usually stayed up till around 5 a.m. playing games, and I heard him pacing back and forth around his room all night. At 4:45, I became concerned and knocked on his door. Dude, what are you doing? I said. He had a cup of coffee in his hands, and his eyes were red. A man who downloaded that app is dead. What? I've been up all night researching everything about it. People who download that app start behaving strangely. One man even stabbed himself in the eye. Dude, what the heck? I didn't know what to say, so I followed him to his laptop. A suicide note was found with his body. He scrolled to a picture of the note. It said, I gave my soul to it. Now Lizzie won't cry forever. Scrawled and repeated a dozen times. Lizzie was the dead man's dead daughter, apparently. I shook my head. Come on, this all must be part of the viral campaign. My eyelids felt heavy. Look, just forget about all this and go to sleep. Let's talk about it in the morning, I yawned, afternoon. There's something messed up going on here, my brother said. There's no way it's a viral campaign. What could it possibly be? It's just a bit of code on a phone. If you're so scared, why not just delete the app? I can't, my brother said. It won't let me delete it. Okay, that sounds ridiculous. I picked up my brother's phone and scrolled to the app. How do you delete apps on this thing? I asked. Just hold it down until the app started dancing. So I did. The app started shaking, but there's no way to delete it. You're the tech guy in the family, my brother said. There has to be another way to delete it, right? Of course there is. Let's just figure it out in the morning, okay? My brother grabbed the phone and held the button to shut it off. Yeah, for sure. Good night, man. I went back to my room and shut the lights off, and sleep shortly took me. The aroma of buttery pancakes woke me. The digital clock on my bedside table read 11:42 a.m. Not being one to deny myself hot, syrupy pancakes, I thundered downstairs and into the kitchen. Mom stood over the stove, piling fresh pancakes onto a plate. Good noon, she said. I was about to sphere you from your coma. The pancakes did that. I grabbed a couple of them, some maple syrup, and I got down to business. Before you start, my mom said, go wake your brother, he's usually up earlier. I knocked on his door, but to no response. I creaked the door open and peeked inside. He wasn't there. He's not here, I said, and I got back to my pancakes. Really? I didn't see him leave. After you finish, give him a call, would you? I lay down on the couch in the living room, bleary-eyed and full of pancake goodness. I called my brother. Hello? Dude, where are you? Mom made pancakes. You're not still using that app, are you? You remember where they found Dad? What? I always wanted to know. Know what? Did he kill himself? Dude, are you serious? I'm going to ask him. He hung up, and now I have to explain something. My father died when I was 9, and his body was found on a hiking trail a few miles from where we lived at the time. He had fallen off a cliff and died on impact. The week before that, he had lost his job, a high-paying finance job that provided for us. Not only that, he was also under investigation for financial crimes. So the life insurance company launched an investigation into his death to determine if it was a suicide. It was determined to have been an accident because my father had fallen backwards and landed on his back. We still survive off the payout. I called my brother back, but once again, it was no response. I called 5 more times and he just wouldn't pick up. I grabbed my car keys and I told my mom, I'm going out for a bit, I'll be back later. I settled into my musty Mazda and was on my way. Wadsworth Falls, Connecticut. I put it in my Google Maps. I tried calling my brother a few more times on the way, but it was to no avail. After many hours, I was there, in the wilderness and on the trail. It looked so familiar. As a family, we would hike this trail all the time when my dad was still alive. We would picnic at the top, near the waterfall, and my mom made these delicious tuna sandwiches. She never makes them anymore. It was a blistering hot afternoon, and like an idiot, I hadn't brought a bottle of water. Exhausted after an hour of walking, I sat in the shade beneath the tree. I took out my phone and I luckily still had signal. I went to the app store and searched for Spirit Caller. Apparently it wasn't available in the Google Play Store. I Googled it to check if there was an APK for Android, but there wasn't. The July humidity felt heavy on my eyelids. I couldn't keep my eyes open and I drifted to sleep. A shrill scream woke me. It was dark and I had been asleep for a couple hours. Had I been dreaming or was that scream real? Clouds blocked the moonlight on this black night and I switched on my phone's flashlight and walked on. A while later my phone rang and it was my brother. "Where are you?" I asked. "I saw Dad." "Are you still on the trail? Tell me exactly where." I turned the speakerphone on so I could talk and use the flashlight, and I hurried up the trail. I talked to him. My brother said, "He looked the same as the day he killed himself." "Listen, I'm coming. Just wait for me, okay?" Dad said something is punishing him for what he did. I ran off the trail and it got steeper as the tree growth thickened. "None of it is real," I said. "You know that, right?" "It won't let his soul go, unless I give it mine." I ran as fast as I could. I could barely see what was ahead of me. "No, Dad would never. He would never ask you to do that." I heard a laugh, a twisted upside down laugh, through the smartphone speaker. I took a screenshot. My brother said, "I emailed it to you so you know that I'm telling the truth." The top of the trail wasn't far off. It was where we'd always have so many picnics and tuna sandwiches. And it was where my dad had fallen to his death. "I'm almost there. Just wait for me." "Goodbye, Sam. Tell Mom I'm sorry." "No." I threw down my phone and sprinted. My brother stood ahead at the cliff's edge and I dashed to grab him. But somehow it was over the edge. To me, that moment felt like forever as he floated down, away from me, and splattered back first on a rock face 100 feet below. Half an hour later, a park ranger found his body and me, huddled and shaken at our picnic spot. When the police came, I tried to explain what happened. The police and media spun it as a mentally ill man who believed that an app let him talk to the dead, who killed himself out of an unprocessed grief for his dead father. Apple pulled the app hours after the story aired, but apparently it can still be installed on a jailbroken iPhone. That night, I asked the police if they had found his phone, and they hadn't. And I had tossed mine on the trail, and they never recovered it either. It would be a few hours before I got home. I don't even want to describe how my mom took it. And I'm sure you can imagine what a mother's grief is like. I laid down on my bed, dead inside. I hadn't cried. The tears were stuck, wedged in by a combination of disbelief and dread. I dragged myself to my computer and opened my Gmail. There it was, the email from my brother. No subject and nothing in the body either. It was just an attachment, and I clicked on it. It was a dark and hazy scene of the cliff edge. A man stood near the edge, his face shadowed and blurred. Was that Dad? But something was behind him, and I couldn't tell what it was. I opened the picture in Photoshop and zoomed in. There was a face, pale with eyeless sockets. I increased the contrast and sharpness. The face had no nose, no ears, just gaping holes where they should be. But there was something odd about these holes. They had teeth. I zoomed out to see the man's terrified, wide eyes, and yes, he was my dad for sure. I closed the picture. It's now a week later, and my brother's funeral was a few days ago. Since then, I've been using an old flip phone to get by, but today, after I submit this post, I'm going to drive to a store I've never been. I have to admit, Apple stores are beautiful. It's time I bought a new phone. It's time I found out what really happened.